Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Video Game Choo Choo Podcast. It's John. I'm here. Hello, everybody. We're recording on November 20th, 2020, and this is episode 338. So 338. That's a lot of episodes, and we're just gonna keep on going, folks. I forget if I said my name. I'm John. And I'm the host of the show, and with me this week is Spencer. Hello, Spencer.
Hello. It's been a while.
It has been.
How are you doing?
It has been a large amount of time. To answer your question, how have I been doing? Up and down, I suppose, is what I would say. It's been a time. It's been very busy, but thankfully, after I'm done with this, I'm pretty much good for the weekend. So that'll be nice.
Nice.
So we're recording. This is basically going to be the Thanksgiving episode, I guess. We're going to be releasing this before Thanksgiving, but I hope everyone listening is having a safe Thanksgiving. Hopefully, if you can, you are, not going anywhere. Just stay safe, stay sound, and just be prepared for everything, because it's scary out there right now. Spencer, what are you planning on doing for Thanksgiving?
So normally we have like 4 or 5 friends who live in our area come over, and we do all the cooking here. So
right,
everybody brings their own sort of thing that they cook, but we basically do all the cooking here. If you can't pre-prepare stuff, I normally make that nice baked macaroni and cheese with the bechamel sauce and the breadcrumb topping. But because it's pandemic times, we're this is maybe a bad idea. So instead, it's just going to be my roommates and I'm going to make one of my favorite meals that I've cooked this year, which is it's from the content creator Lemon Drop on YouTube. She does Final Fantasy XIV recipes and recreates them in real life. And one that she made, I want to say it was last year around this time, was Skybuilder stew, which is it's a nice chicken and dumpling stew with cheese dumplings with chives, Brussels sprouts, various veggies like tomatoes and stuff. It's really good. So I'm just going to make that.
Okay. What is in that? I forget if you talked about it previously. What is in the stew?
So it's just chicken thighs. That's the main protein, and then it's chopped up Brussels sprouts. I usually have to chop them because the recipe says find the small ones, but I can never find everybody always picks out the small ones at our grocer, so I have to get the big ones and then just chop them in half.
If it works,
it works. It's fine. I think I might try roasting them and then putting them in afterwards, but we'll see. Because my other roommate really likes roasted Brussels sprouts, not really boiled ones, which is what happens when you put them in the stew. You basically boil them. It's got a diced tomato. It's got some onion, because you always need some sort of onion to put in to help deepen the flavor of the broth.
Of course.
And then I make the dumplings from scratch, which sounds difficult, but it really is just you put flour, you put some water, you put some cheese, you put some I can't remember if it's baking powder or baking soda. I think it's baking powder, but you just kind of mix it all together and it with some salt, and then it just with the water it just kind of coagulates into this big ball, and then you just dole it out in globs at the very last step, and it makes really good dumplings. So
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. If you just look up Skybuilder stew recipe, you'll find it. It'll be the first option. It's really good. So it's definitely going to be better than trying to like make an entire Thanksgiving dinner for all of 3 people.
Right.
So
Well, I unfortunately am going to be going to my parents. It's not going to be a big gathering. But I have to go anyway because my mother needs a ride to the doctor's on Monday. So I figured if I'm gonna go there anyway, I guess I'll just stay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best to be as safe as possible, though. But God, yeah, it's it's a stressful time and it's a scary time. But I hope all of you listening are safe and healthy. So the thing that we all do that is definitely not safe and definitely not healthy is play video games. And I suppose we could go ahead and discuss the video games that we have been playing recently. Spencer, why don't you go ahead?
So, I have been playing quite a few different video games in the last week, because on Monday of this week, I got a new computer.
Ooh.
For the first time in 4 years, and for the first time ever in my life, it is a desktop computer. For the last decade, like basically when I graduated high school, one of my graduation gifts was a laptop. And it was it was basically a hand-me-down laptop from like the aughts from my aunt. Mm-hmm. And so it could run like System Shock 2, and that was basically it. And that game was from 1998, 1999. Mm-hmm. So wasn't really like a video game laptop. And then I got another one when I went to college, like a couple years later. And then I bought myself one like back in 2016 in January nearabouts. And that's the one that I'm actually on right now. It's been pretty good. It's held up pretty well. But like you know how video games are, like they're permanently intertwined with the advances of technology. So as the technology gets more powerful, developers want to tap into that power. As you can see with like the PlayStation 5's loading times and the Xbox Series X and how big both of those are, and yet they're just absurd. But my new desktop has allowed me to play a bunch of games that I tried on my laptop but wasn't successful. One of which is Destiny 2. I think Destiny 2 went like free to play like last year or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It was either last year or like earlier this year. And my roommates and one of my social circles, they all like raid on Destiny 2, and they wanted me to try it out when it was free. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. And I loaded into the very first moments, and it was garbage. Like, it was like Fallout 4 below minimum settings. It was like, I was like, I can't do this. But now on my desktop, like Destiny 2 runs very well, although it still seems to have this crashing issue where it can't read the game data, which has been around for a year or so. But I just did like a fresh install, and that seemed to clear it up. Like it was running perfectly fine earlier today. Destiny 2 is a weird video game, gotta say. Like, obviously it's got like MMO leanings, but one of the things they did like fairly recently is they cut out all of the previous content in the game. So like Destiny 2 came out in like 2016, 2017 or nearabouts, and they cut out all of the original starting quest storyline. They cut out like a lot of the previous expansions content, like something Osiris and Forsaken and all that shit. Like you can't access that shit anymore. Like presumably if you owned that content and you did it, you can go back and like replay it. But for me, a new player, like that stuff's just inaccessible. Like I think some of the stuff's like in like a rotation that comes out every so often, but it's really weird. Like especially coming from like my mainstay MMO, Final Fantasy XIV, where like they have removed content from that game in the past, but usually they remove the content because it's low population and nobody's ever doing it, and it's never like story content. So, but like it's just a really weird decision because I was watching like an IGN interview about like when they were talking about this process of like going and cutting out all this content, because a problem they were having was a problem I'm familiar with, where, you know, in Final Fantasy XIV, like for the last year and a half, people have talked about how great Shadowbringers is as an expansion, and you got to play Final Fantasy XIV now because it's like one of the best Final Fantasy games ever. It's got one of the best stories, one of the best villains. It's so good. And then it's like, oh, but you need to go through like 200 plus hours of content to get there.
Yep.
And that's a big ask, but the reason they ask you to do that is because if you like, you can skip that content. You can buy a story skip if you really want to just get into the story. But that's their option instead of just removing all of that previous stuff and cutting it all out, because if you don't go through those 200 hours or so, the story kind of loses a little bit of its impact. And by a little bit of its impact, I mean most of its impact, I feel. Because like Shadowbringers, not to spoil it, it pays off a lot of like long running plot threads that had been in the game since the very beginning. So it makes all of that earlier stuff have more weight to it. And if you skip it, it's like it loses a bit of its like its punch. But it's very weird in Destiny 2, just to like, because I know in one of the expansions they killed off like a big major character who had been in the first game, and like the new player experience, they straight up say like, oh yeah, we had this cool character, his name was Cade 6, he died a bit ago. And it's like, oh, this is weird now because other people playing this game have a completely different relationship to this character than I do, because they actually like were able to meet him and I am not. But then at the same time, I randomly picked like the game wanted me to just go in and do like a strike, which is like just running a dungeon. And you run it with like 2 other players, and apparently it was a strike from when Cade 6 was alive, so I'm hearing him talk to me over the comms, and I'm like, aren't you supposed to be dead?
That is such a weird thing that it seems very slapdash and confusing why they ended up doing this, and they really should have just like, I don't know, figured out a way to do a story skip, or just cut out some of the extremely superfluous stuff instead of like, you know, cycling in things that are probably gonna confuse people that are trying to get into this game.
It's just really, like, the last thing I'll say about it is it's just a really weird decision, because like I said, having Cade 6 show up during like a thing that I was doing was really weird, when it had built up this like the veneer of this character is in the past. Your ability to bond with this character is closed off because you weren't like part of the story, which makes sense. And like I can like appreciate this decision of like, we're just gonna like remove everything and just start over from scratch because this game has gotten too obtuse now and it's harder for people to get in. I can appreciate like that decision, but like they didn't commit to it all the way because they still want to have like that old content available. Because as it turns out, when you cut out all of the content, or not all of the content, when you cut out like 70% of the content in your game, you have a game that has like only 30% of the content left. So, but that's one of the games I've played. You want to talk about one that you've played?
I can. So I talked about them pretty extensively last episode, so I won't dwell on it too much, but I did finish both Miles Morales and Bugsnax. I could probably talk about Bugsnax more, actually, because I think I only played a little bit, but Miles Morales is pretty alright. I ended up 100%ing pretty much everything, except I didn't, do all the combat things 100%, I didn't, get a gold medal or whatever. I'm not going to bother with that,
Yeah.
But I played through, all the content available in that game, and it was pretty fun. That it's... I think Miles is a much better written character than Peter was. I do think that they cleaned up the writing a bit since the last game. Just Miles just feels like a more well realized, more believable character. He's a bit of a smartass, a bit of a fun loving kind of character, but you can really tell how much he loves his city, and especially Harlem, his home, now that he has moved there from, I think, Brooklyn, or Manhattan. Look, I've mixed up Brooklyn and Manhattan. Some New Yorkers are going to be listening to this wanting to strangle me, but he moves to Harlem, and he is very explicitly and very proudly wanting to represent Harlem as their Spider-Man. And it is very touching to see the community grow to accept him over the course of the game. Because near the beginning, the whole thrust of it is that Miles is by himself because Peter goes on this vacation sort of thing with Mary Jane. And so at first, people are just referring to you as the other Spider-Man. They're like, oh, there's that other Spider-Man. He's younger. I don't know about him. I don't trust him. He's probably going to fuck up. But by the end of the game, everyone loves you just as much, if not more than Peter. And, everyone's so excited to see you. And it just feels really good to see that, character arc happen and see not just Miles grow a bit, but, the city grow too. To grow to accept him, grow to appreciate that, it kind of reflects people's reaction to Miles Morales in the first place, where, he was... people were worried that he was just going to drop in and completely erase original Spider-Man. But no, he's a different Spider-Man, but he's just as important as Peter was. And arguably, he's even more important to a lot of people. So that was a really nice representation of Miles Morales as a character, and representation of his existence in pop culture, and I just enjoyed that game very much. And I'm looking forward to Spider-Man 2, whatever that'll be. I want to play more Spider-Man stuff, but it did get a little much by the end, all the side stuff, but I did feel compelled enough to finish it, so that's something. It does help that the game has really good fast travel. It's very fast to get around.
Nice.
And I didn't really put together that thing that people were talking about on Twitter. They were getting in an argument about that you could pull up the menu and you can kind of teleport to different places. And, I don't feel like I need to argue about that too much, because it is just, it's an option, whatever, if you don't want to use the option, don't use the option. If you go ahead, it's fine. But that didn't even register to me. I was just using the fast travel every once in a while. Sometimes I would web swing because I just felt like it. It was, it's options. It's all options. And that is the nice thing about games, is that it's all about options. You could do as much of it as you want. You could do as little of it as you want. And, I will also agree with the argument that these games are probably too bloated, and they could definitely cut down on the amount of things that you have to do in the game. And I also think that people, asking for bigger and longer games, if people are upset at how long Miles Morales was, I'm like, just come on, that game was, I'd say it's too long in a sense, they could have definitely cut some of that, it's just, I don't want to hear it from people that want million-hour games all the time. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do something else with your life. But I enjoyed that one. And the other game I played was Bugsnax. I finished it. I platinumed that game. It is the 4th game I've platinumed on the PlayStation.
Wow.
Yeah. Which joins the ranks of JoJo All-Star Battle, Tales from the Borderlands, and Spyro 1, the reignited version. And honestly, I wasn't like actively hunting to platinum it. There was like maybe 3 things that I actively had to do. It was like, having to catch certain snacks, and because there's like 2 achievements that are like, one of them's like, feed someone a frieder, a bunger, and a soda snack, which is like a burger, fries, and a drink. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's like a cute little thing. Have them all have that at the same time, so it's like they're a combo meal. And there was like one that was like, throw cheese at someone and take a picture of it. It's just like little things like that. But I did very much enjoy Bug Snacks. It was a delight. The writing is super solid. All the characters are very fun. It's a little hard to talk about just because, I think people should experience it, like either playing it or, watch a Let's Play or something. But it's a story worth visiting. The big problem with it is that sometimes some of the ways that you catch the Bug Snacks are a little obtuse, but there's also like the argument that there's not that many Bug Snacks. There's 100 in total, but they repeat a lot of them and just slightly change their behaviors or change where they're located. So, like for example, it could be like a scorpion that shoots fire, and the first time you encounter it, it's near water, so you can kind of knock it down and it falls into the water and you can catch it easily. But then there's one later that's nowhere near water, so you have to figure out how to get it near the water to put it out, or do something else to put it out. So they're similar, but they explicitly want you to tackle the puzzle differently. So it's it's building upon a concept, and that's neat. But when you're like, oh man, I want to see all the different kinds of Bug Snacks, there's maybe it says there's 100, but there's maybe like 60 different kinds of Bug Snacks in total if you really think about it and aren't just like talking about, different versions of them. Maybe even less than that. I don't know. I'm bad with math. But then, you really should be there for the writing. You should be there for the characters, because the characters are good. They have, they're small stories, little side quests that you can do. But I enjoyed pretty much all of the side quests. I enjoyed seeing how those characters evolved over the course of the game. And, it's not something that... I don't think it's anything that should, like, win awards or anything like that, except for maybe 1 or 2 things, because like I think Filbo is a legit fantastic character. He's the mayor of the town who's trying to keep everyone together, and just seeing how his character evolves over the game is very good. But everyone else is a little one note, but not in a terribly bad way. They exist, they have an arc, and they are funny and have really good moments hanging out with each other. But it's not anything like knock your socks off sort of thing. It's a good game, though. I would absolutely recommend it to pretty much anyone. It is very, very good.
I'm kind of glad that that's your takeaway from it, because from the moment it was announced, a lot of people got very enamored by the title of the game, Bug Snacks, because it's a very fun word to say.
It is.
And I was worried this whole time that people were like very like enthusiastically like, oh, Bug Snacks is going to be game of the year because it's Bug Snacks. How could it not be? I was very worried that people would overhype themselves and then get Bug Snacks and go like, it's okay. I was expecting like the next greatest video game of all time, but I guess this is fine. And hearing people, like not only yourself, but other people going, Bug Snacks is really fun and I like it. I'm really happy.
Yeah. It's good.
So
I would think that you all should check it out. especially if you have a PS5 and PS Plus, because you can just get that with it. You don't got to worry about buying it.
Nice. It's also nice to hear that, because I haven't actually played like the Spider-Man game.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to hear that like the story arc is basically, oh, the city goes from we have Spider-Man and the other Spider-Man to we have the Spider-Mens.
Yeah, it's very much initially, oh man, there's 2 cakes, but one of them sucks, to, oh shit, we have 2 cakes. It's just, it's good. But they are both good. They are both good characters. But I personally, I think Miles is better, but at least in the video game context. But we will see how the sequels handle Peter, because I hope that they took, lessons from how people reacted to the first game and apply it to Peter, because I definitely feel like they did that with Miles. They were like, oh yeah, no, we need to do this and this with Miles, and so I hope that they take that to heart and update Peter a little bit too.
Speaking of people using like the fast travel stuff to shorten the playtime of Spider-Man,
right?
How do you feel about like the game length of Bugsnax?
It wasn't super long. Because I did have to go out of my way a little bit to do some of the extra things for the trophies. It took me a little bit longer, if you want to catch every snack. But if you mainline it, you could probably beat it in 5 hours, maybe?
Okay.
I'd say it's pretty perfect length for what it's trying to be.
But it also has like that ghost trick problem of it's really good, but you can't really talk about it too much because you don't want to spoil the experience for other people.
Oh, totally, yeah. I mean, because it's mostly just small character interactions, and it's not necessarily it's puzzle solving, so you can't just sit there and explain how the puzzles work, because then you're ruining that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, it's a lot of just small character interactions, and that is also something that I feel like you shouldn't really spoil, because people should be able to see how those character interactions unfold and see if they enjoy those characters and how they evolve over the game.
Nice.
Make your own decision, my friends. But I guess now you can go ahead and discuss some games that you've been playing as well, if you wish, because you didn't just play stuff on your computer. You also went ahead and did other things on consoles.
Yeah, so we have both a PS5 and a Series X now. I haven't tried out the PS5 yet. I'm probably going to play Demon's Souls on that at some point. Mm-hmm. But what I did check out was Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, the Series X. I beat it last night.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty fucking good, I gotta say. In high school, I remember going to the GameStop, and my family had just got a PS2, and I was like, oh man, I need to buy some of these PS2 games that I missed out on, because my family had been a Nintendo family forever. And I saw there was a Devil May Cry game, and it happened to be Devil May Cry 2, which is the bad one, as I've been told. And I played it for 40 minutes and was like, I kind of am not liking this that much. But it's nice to play Devil May Cry 5 because it's just, one, it just looks really nice, especially on the Series X. But two, it plays nicer. I've never really been a character action person. I'm not like Rose and Walker who live for those kinds of games.
Right.
The most I've ever played a game like that is Route A of Nier Automata. But I've never been a big character action person. But Devil May Cry 5, it's pretty fucking amazing at how nice it feels to do combos and sick tricks and stuff, and then like have the letter rating go up and up and up. It's nice to just press a button, do a huge attack, and then it jumps like from like C to double S. It's really fun. And I only played it on like the Devil Hunter difficulty, which is like normal. It's not like the easy mode, but it's not one of the harder ones, but it was pretty fun. I kind of want to try and like go through the missions. Like you said, in Miles Morales, you weren't really fond of like going and doing like the gold medals on the combat challenges, which I usually don't do that either. But with Devil May Cry 5, it plays so well, and I like playing as the characters that I might go and try to like S rank all the missions. Maybe not all in one continuous run, but playing that game is just really fun. I think the style meter is probably one of the smartest design choices in any video game, like going all the way back to the original Devil May Cry, just because if that style meter didn't exist, if you weren't like graded on how stylish you were performing, those games would be so boring and so bad and so monotonous, because without that meter, you would just like, you'd either spam the buttons that do the biggest damage, which is boring, or you would just do the safe options, like using the guns exclusively so you're never in danger of getting hit by people, which is also boring. The style meter kind of encourages like, hey, be flashy, be stupid, just run in there and like smack them with your fist or your stick or something. And it just works out really well. I haven't touched most of like the new features with the special edition thing. I did try the Virgil route last night after I beat the main campaign, because I wanted to get like my bearings on the combat systems before dumping into Virgil, because I think the worst thing possible would be, oh man, I get to play as Virgil now, and then just immediately eat shit on the first mission because I don't know how to play the game. But Virgil's really fun to play. I did the first two missions and S ranked both of them because he's just very easy to just chain combos and do weird, stupid nerd sword shit. He summons like a ghost doppelganger and you can just double team people. It's kind of nuts. But I haven't tried like the new difficulty modes or the other like the turbo mode, which I think just like, instead of like having to walk from point A to point B and then fighting all the like monsters in each of the rooms, I think the turbo mode just kind of like puts you in those rooms with the monsters, so you just do all the combat encounters without having to explore any. But I'll maybe try those out when I get a better grasp on the game as a whole, because I still haven't even unlocked all the weapons and all the skills and shit for all the characters. Because those games are designed to be replayed, but like I said at the beginning that I'm not really like a character action person, but maybe I'm a character action person now. I don't know. I've got Devil May Cry brain now.
Hey, that is definitely the way that you get started. It sounds like I feel like DMC especially 5 is a good place to start. Are you thinking about trying some other games? What are you planning on? Or you just want to keep doing DMC, or are you planning on maybe branching out to other franchises?
I think I'll stick with DMC for now, just because that's the one that I'm familiar with. But like, I know that the battle designer for DMC 5 is the battle designer for Final Fantasy 16. So I'm looking forward to seeing how some of the things they learned with 5 translate into that, because like I know we don't have a whole lot of information on 16 right now, but from what I know, from what I've seen, from what we have, I'm interested in playing it. So I'm kind of using Devil May Cry 5 to sort of train myself for when I play that game next year. But after that, like, I don't know, maybe I'll actually go back and finish Nier Automata, like I've said I've been wanting to do for the last like year now.
You really should.
I know. It doesn't help that I have a new computer now, and it's like, oh, cool. Like, I can finally play like Doom 2016 now too. Like all these games that people have wanted me to play, and I tried, and it either didn't work or I dropped off. Like, there's too many video games, John. There's too many.
There are a lot of video games. That is true.
I also played Manifold Garden for a bit on the Series X, which is like it's like you familiar with like Antichamber?
Yes, I am.
It's kind of like Antichamber, but like if they went really full on with the vignetting for the aesthetics. It's probably like I've described it as the best way to get a headache, because after playing like that game for 2.5 hours, I started to get a headache and had to go and take a nap. Because it's all about manipulating gravity. Like you walk up to a wall and then you like press a button and the wall is now the floor, so the entire perspective shifts. Mm-hmm. And they keep building on that mechanic in fun ways, like having to direct like certain objects in a way. I don't want to give away too many of the mechanical spoilers because they're just kind of it's such a simple game that saying a word about what happens is kind of like you'll know what to expect, and seeing it for the first time is a bit more impactful because your brain starts to do the gear grinding thing of how the fuck do I get that over there. So, but it's very fun. It's got a very sharp aesthetic, and there's a lot of instances where you walk into a room and then like you can just fall off of a ledge and just keep falling for eternity because it loops the rooms on themselves like indefinitely. Right. So there's a huge like sense of scale and scope. It's kind of nuts.
That's cool.
If you're into puzzle games, I definitely recommend checking it out.
All right. Well, I think I will talk about a bit of news this time. Let's see what we have here. There's a lot of stuff. There's some easy stuff, there's some difficult stuff, and there's some stuff that I'm going to potentially get yelled at for. What do you think I should do?
Let's get rowdy. Let's get yelled at.
All right, you want me to get yelled at?
I want us to get yelled at.
All right, well then let's see. This may inspire debate between us.
Okay.
So online fighting game tournaments are something that has become kind of a necessity for the fighting game community at large. Since people can't go into places to play video games together because of quarantine, currently pretty much everyone has to play online. So there's a major Smash Bros tournament called the Big House that has been going on for a good long while now. It was mostly melee focused and all that, but they also had Ultimate, but they explicitly were a melee tournament for a good while. And they were also sponsored by Nintendo. Nintendo actually put money into the event, helped run it, etc., etc. And since it was forced online, they set it up so there would be a Smash Ultimate online tournament, which, that's fine, because, hey, Smash Ultimate is online. But they also wanted to play Melee. And Melee has an unofficial, unapproved rollback netcode mod to use with Dolphin, the emulator, called Slippy. And, this is something that is unofficial, and it's, it has been argued that emulation and modification of games is not illegal in any sense. But the tournament organizers just went ahead and did this without, talking to Nintendo, who's a sponsor, who is helping run the event. And Nintendo sent a cease and desist to the tournament, and the tournament is not happening this year now. Now, here's where here's my stance. I have laid out my stance, and here's my stance. I think Nintendo goes way too far with their copyright things. They are overreaching. They are shitty about it. They are very Disney-like. It is not good. It is not good how they act.
Yeah.
They should be doing things like how Sega does, where they reach out to the fans and, make things with them. Like Sonic Mania was made by basically fans. There's other companies that team up with their fans and create something. If Nintendo reached out to Slippy or to someone else who made Melee netcode and then updated Melee with netcode and put it on a Switch for like $20, people would buy it.
Right.
However, I think the people that ran this tournament are also dumb as shit for doing this, for doing an unofficial thing when Nintendo is sponsoring them, when they very explicitly should know by now that Nintendo shuts this kind of shit down. It is extremely, what are you gonna do, stab me energy. Like, it is just like, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah.
It is, and also, now, this is unconfirmed, but Nintendo, again, this is just Nintendo saying this. Nintendo actually said that they approached the big house and said, hey, could you just take Melee off of the list? You can do an Ultimate tournament, just don't use this unapproved rollback stuff, just don't use this, because, we can't sponsor it, we can't condone it. And Big House said no. So then Nintendo said, all right, well then we're going to cease and desist it, because we can't be associated with something that is using unofficial things. And, of course, it can be argued that is, an overreaction, and, it's, there's other companies that are probably sponsoring events that use these kinds of things all the time. But again, it feels like such hubris, such just, like what did they think was going to happen, Like, they shut down Project M when people were running those on hacked Wiis and all that, and it's I don't get it. I don't get why you would do something like that when it's so obvious exactly what would happen. So, and I mean, that's also on top of my opinion that I think Melee is still so overwrought and that people need to move on from it. Because, Ultimate has its netcode problems, don't get me wrong, and that is something that should absolutely be fixed. But Ultimate's also a really good competitive game.
Yeah.
It has a lot more very interesting, very cool characters. The game is still being worked on. There's still updates. There's still changes to the characters. There's still a meta game is still forming a whole year later. Or has it been 2 years now? It's been a long time since Ultimate came out. And again, I just feel like this is, I still think Melee is, people need to move on. The people that are winning, also, the people that are fucking winning Melee tournaments too are also like 99% douchebags too, who don't deserve to be winning money playing video games. So, but that is another point that I don't feel like getting into. I'm sure that there's perfectly fine people that are playing Melee, but when you look at a lot of those folks that are the top dogs that people keep bringing up, they have a lot of shit behind them that is not good. And also, hell, like, the reason why these people aren't moving past over to Ultimate is because they're not good at it. It's very funny that these people just don't want to, they aren't immediately good at the game. So they don't want to move on and they just want to stick with Melee, Like, it's, I am a pretty ardent anti-competitive Melee person, Like, I still love all Smash Bros. Games. I still love Melee. But competitive Melee is just so far up its own ass. I can't stand it, and I think people need to move on because Ultimate is just so good. But yeah, so that is how I feel about it. I feel like there are no good guys in this scenario. This just feels like Nintendo being Nintendo, and again, you can. I completely agree with folks saying that they are, they go too far with this kind of thing. They should just let things go. But also the people at the big house need to fucking... they need to not think that Melee is the most important thing in the world and realize that, you know, it's a pandemic. Maybe they can wait a year to play fucking Melee.
Yeah. For me, seeing this, like, I'm a big person who doesn't like current copyright laws and how they're set up because it forces companies' hands in this regard, which, like, yeah, I think Nintendo is pretty shitty about cease and desisting the tournament, but I also think it's shitty that you can own copyright for so long that you force people into these situations where they have to protect their IP or they lose it. I don't have, like, it's not my job to figure out, like, the good solutions here, like what works and what doesn't. But I at least think that, you know, this should have, like, this whole situation could have been avoided if copyright law wasn't the way it was.
Oh, totally.
But here's the thing. I have to wonder, if copyright law was different, would Nintendo even bother, like, dealing with the tournament? Like, would they still sponsor it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't... Again, like, I am also not, like, a big, like, Melee fan, but I'm also not really a big Smash fan. Like, I like the games well enough, but I'm not like, I gotta play Smash because it's my favorite game or whatever. But I'm like that with, like, most fighting games. And tournaments are, like, a big component of fighting games. Like, it's kind of like the pinnacle of the medium. Like, you play fighting games to play against other players and improve your skills and get better and get a deeper understanding of the game, and then you test that understanding on, like, online ranked matches. And then, like, the big thing, like, the end point is you go to a tournament, you place in a tournament, and you win, like, prizes or prestige. That's really cool. There's a bunch of really cool things that come out of that.
Yeah.
Like, I always love watching the Tekken block at Evo. And, like, I've never even played a Tekken game, and I like watching it because it's cool. But, like, the pandemic has caused things to change, and I have to wonder if somebody at Big House thought, like, well, because it's a pandemic, surely Nintendo will understand this time and let us play Melee using this unofficial, like, unlicensed, like, thing that lets us play an emulated copy of their game online. And that's kind of naive to think. Like, not that they did, but if they did, that would be a naive thing to think. But yeah, it is really just weird that they just thought that they were going to be able to do business as usual. Like, it was like, oh yeah, Nintendo won't fuck us over this time.
Yeah, no, it's
Nintendo.
Yeah. Like, really, what did you expect? What did you expect? I don't know. But then seeing, like, hashtag free Melee trending, like, come on.
Oh dear.
Come on. I think another part of it is that Melee fans are just incredibly scared of the day that people stop giving a shit about Melee. It is 100%. They rile people up. They stir up hyperbole because then it makes Melee seem like something that needs to get a big push when it doesn't. It doesn't. It's... Melee winning that Evo thing over Skullgirls absolutely put us in the bad timeline. It really did. It should have been fucking Skullgirls, you know? Like, all those people that were like, hey, you know what? We legitimately enjoy this game and we love it and we want to see it played on the Evo main stage. And the Melee fans were like, hey, we want to see the same 5 dudes win over and over again for fucking 20 years. And all of them are shitty people. And they all play fucking Fox. Play a different game.
Play a different character.
Play a different character. Play something else. Do something different, please.
It's the same thing with the people who play the open world games and only the open world games and want like 9 million hour games. Like, play other games.
Do something else. Play different games.
Like, and I say this as somebody who plays like Final Fantasy 14 for like thousands of hours. Like, I play other games.
Yeah, you play other games. Play other games. Expand your horizons, everybody. Read a book. Watch a movie. I watched a movie today. I watched Night of the Living Dead. That was good.
Nice.
I got this Criterion Collection thing. I'm going to watch some extras later.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, very excited.
What else is in the news?
IO Interactive is making a James Bond game.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. As the Hitman people, if you don't recall. Which, that seems like a really, really good pairing. Like, absolutely perfect pairing there. It is apparently going to be... It's apparently going to be some kind of origin story.
For 007?
And a wholly... Yes, for 007. And will feature a wholly original Bond story exclusive as a video game. One in which players must earn their 00 status.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. It's going to be a PS5, Xbox Series, and PC game, it sounds like.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, it sounds pretty cool. I don't have, like... I'm not really married to James Bond as, like, a concept, you know? But IO is very good at just that kind of, like, mission-based stuff. And, you know, if it's anything like Hitman, that could be pretty cool. I just hope that they have some of that Hitman-style comedy in there.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
what I would like to see. Yeah.
Like knocking people out with a fish or getting the slip on wet floors.
I want James Bond to have a homing briefcase or something like that, you know? That's what I want. I want stuff like that.
I think they'll have like a disguise system like in Hitman where you can dress up as like a baseball mascot or something.
I hope so.
I want to dress James Bond up as Gritty.
I do too. I absolutely do too.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I guess I could talk about one more bit of news, and then we'll let you talk again. So, Animal Crossing had a big ol' update, which is already out. It came out on the 19th. They added the 2 more events, which is Turkey Day on the 26th, which is just Thanksgiving, basically.
Mm.
Franklin the turkey will show up and will make food in your plaza. You have to go around and collect the ingredients to go into the dishes, and then Franklin will give you a gift. That's cute.
Thanks, Franklin.
Thank you, Franklin. And then there's also Toy Day, which is basically Christmas, the holidays, whatever. I mean, it is very much Christmas. You know, you have a reindeer in a Santa outfit.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they want to be all encompassing. You know, it's Decemberween. So from the 1st to the 25th, pretty much all of December, you can buy toys from Nook's Cranny. And there will also be holiday clothing at the Able Sisters. And then on December 24th, which is Toy Day, Jingle, the reindeer, will appear on your island. And if you help him deliver presents, you will get a gift. So there you go.
The gift is he kills you, probably. I don't know.
Thank God.
Oh, I'm glad. I heard there were also like new... Like, was this the one where like there were new emotes?
So they added 9 more emotes, which, you know, that's nice. I think you have to buy them or something like that. Yeah, I think you have to buy those. And they also added 6 more hairstyle options, which you do have to buy. But they are pretty much specifically like black hairstyles, like African American style hairstyles.
Yeah.
Which is something that a lot of folks have been asking for. So that's very good that they listen to that. And finally, they expanded the home storage to 2,400 slots. So all of the people who need a million places to put your stuff, there is that. And then there is one last thing, actually, too, is that you can now transfer your save data to another Switch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they did add save data transfers. So yeah, that's a pretty substantial update, and it sounds like they added a lot of stuff that people wanted. So yeah, it sounds like Animal Crossing fans have a lot to look forward to, or not even look forward to because it's all here. I guess other than the Christmas thing, the Toy Day. So there you go, Animal Crossing making a big jump.
It's like it sucks that Animal Crossing had to come out this year of all years, but also it's kind of good that it came out this year of all years.
Yeah,
with people not being able to leave much and society is kind of bad.
It is bad.
So it's nice that you can just kind of get away to like a little animal island and catch bugs and have a reindeer kill you on Christmas.
As is tradition.
Is tradition.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, one more thing.
Yes.
So I am, shall we say, immune to the fear of missing out. Like when a big game comes out or this new thing is happening, I don't really feel all that compelled to like jump in and start doing it just because like a bunch of my friends are doing it or a bunch of people in a Discord server I'm in are doing it, you know? Even when it's stuff that like I like inherently, like they'll add a new thing in Final Fantasy 14 and I'll like try it out and I'll go like, this isn't whatever. Or I'll get to that later. You know? So flashback to earlier this year when Genshin Impact came out and dropped and everybody was really liking it and they're like almost everybody in my 14 raid group started playing it together. And I was like, that's cool. I'm glad everybody's having fun. But I never actually took the dive into it because I didn't think, because one, I didn't want to play it on mobile. I know people have said it runs pretty well on mobile, but I didn't want to play it on mobile. And then two, I didn't think my laptop would run it. So now that I have my new computer, which is powered with NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 3070 for people who care about that, or if you were wanting to know, it runs pretty well. Windows is very suspicious of it for whatever reason. Like, I can run any other game or any other program just fine, but the moment I hit like the Genshin Impact button, Windows is like, oh, I don't know if we can trust this publisher. And I'm like, okay, Windows, I know it's a game from China, but you don't have to be racist about it.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. Going back to like the open world concept that we were talking about earlier with Miles Morales, like, the world's pretty big, but I haven't even like explored much of even the tutorial area. I basically got the 3 or 4 free characters they give you to start with. Haven't really played much after that because I got to the point where they said like, okay, now you can go off and explore and do your own thing at your own leisure. And I'm like, all right, cool. This is the part in open world games that everybody hates because it's like, okay, you've given me everything to do and now I want to do nothing. I want to go play a different game.
Right.
So, but art style wise, it's pretty incredible. I'm surprised at how cohesive it has, a design between not only like the character models but also the iconography, the sound design. Like everything feels very cohesive. Like, to the point where I'm surprised that this game is free to play. This of course leans into it's free to play because there's a gacha element to it, which is you know a thing. But you know, I've been playing Arknights for like 6 months now. Like I'm familiar with this. I'm immune to these kinds of oh, you need to roll in this character or they'll be gone forever and you'll never get them again. I'm like, buddy, I just started the game like 20 minutes ago. I don't care about this, man. Whatever. The only things that I don't like about Genshin Impact is one of the first things I did when I started playing was I noticed that I had a stamina meter. And I checked to see, does the stamina meter run out when I dash? And it sure does. So it's one of those games where like you sprint for a bit and then you stop and you have to regen your mana. Then you sprint again and then you stop because you're just trying to get from point A to point B. And when you're playing an open world game like Spider-Man, where you have interesting movement mechanics that can easily get you from point A to point B very quickly and in a way that's fun, that's no problem. But when you're playing Genshin Impact, where, as far as I have been able to tell, the only interesting movement mechanic is the gliders, which require you to be on a higher point. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild's like glider thing. You have to be high up to use it as a form of travel. And I haven't found any horses. Like, maybe there are mounts in the game? I don't know. I'm like an hour and 2 hours into the game, you know? So, but that kind of, oh, you have like stamina that you have to keep track of is a bit annoying. But it's not like a deal breaker for me. It's just kind of funny how games keep doing this. Oh man, players really love regenerating their stamina to get from point A to point B. Another thing that's really weird about it is there are some like voice acting quirks here and there. Like voice lines using a specific pronoun when I'm playing a character who doesn't have those pronouns.
Yeah, they are very weird about that. They do that with some, I think, like the villain too. At times, it's very weird.
Like I can forgive a little bit of jank, so to speak, in that regard. It's not like a big deal. But the big thing for me is I am used to when I am playing a game that has like big open areas and I have to manually control my character, regardless of whether there are interesting movement mechanics or not. I am begging game developers everywhere. If you are making an open world game and you are expecting players to explore and like move around these big, huge areas, please enable auto run in your video game. I am used to Final Fantasy XIV where I press a button and my character automatically moves forward and then I don't have to hold the button down the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is to program, but it is such a huge convenience that like I feel like if your game reaches a certain size in its maps that you should have auto run as a thing. Again, like I don't think that Spider-Man necessarily needs to have auto run because you're usually not running as your form of transportation. You're usually swinging.
Yeah.
But like in a game like Genshin Impact, like where they want me to go, like even the teleport points, like there's fast travel as you'd expect there to be, but I don't want to manually move my character through this huge open field. Let me just auto run. So, but I'm looking forward to trying it more and actually playing through some of the stuff because some of the character designs are really cool. The new guy is like some sort of water man, some aqua boy. He's got like a bow that turns into knives. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I think his name's like he's got two names, which is weird. I saw a lot of people ship him with like this other character named Zhongli, and his one of his names is Chilled. So the ship name is Chili, which is funny.
That is pretty funny.
But yeah, I like Genshin Impact so far, and unlike Destiny 2, hasn't crashed once.
So, there you go.
It's a pretty solid game so far.
So Genshin Impact, better game than Destiny 2. Said it here first. All right.
Said it here first. Done. It's a better game.
Yeah. All right. All right. I guess I'll talk real quick about the last game that I've been playing, and then I'll talk about one last bit of news, and then we can move on to questions.
Sounds good.
I've been playing a little bit of Sakura Wars. I just started that up. I'm still chipping away 13 Sentinels, but I figured I needed something that I didn't need to like give all of my attention to all the time, because 13 Sentinels is just reading, which that's fine. It's a VN, it's good, but also I've been very busy lately, and if I need like just a little bit of time to myself, sitting down and reading a VN, that's a different thing. So Sakura Wars, Rose talked about it a lot when it came out, so I'm kind of just going to echo what she said, because, yeah, it's good. I think the characters are better than the story. Like, I like the characters, but the story so far has been not really anything to note. The combat's fine. It's not really anything. It's just kind of hack and slash stuff. It's not really much to talk about. But yeah, something that Rose complained about a bunch, I got hit with, and I was just flabbergasted at how bad it was. How this game very much wants to be a 90s anime for all that is good and all that is bad about it. And the bad part is that they want to make as many like, oh, the main character's a perv jokes. And like, it is to the detriment of the game in that, like, they give you the option to choose your responses to things, but they also want to have their cake and eat it too and be like, yeah, you could be a gentleman, but also we're going to put you in these situations where there's no way you can walk out of it looking good, Like, the game very explicitly is like, hey, you need to go to the bathhouse in this place. And it's like, okay, well, I have to go here. And then he walks in there and he's like, oh, wait, I'm pretty sure this is just a girls-only bathhouse because everyone else here are girls. I should leave. And then he leaves without doing anything. Like, it's not like he's doing anything bad. He just goes, oh, shit, wait, I shouldn't be here. Like that's pretty much how he goes. He's just like, you know what? Yeah, I shouldn't be here. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave. And then someone sees him walking out, and he goes like, no, I didn't know that this was girls only. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. And they're like, no, you're perfect. It's like, and then there was a bit where, the whole point of the game is that the group you're in, they like protect people from demons in their mechs, but they're also a theater troupe at the same time. It's very weird. Like, I guess the theater aspect is how they raise their money, and they are all very bad at acting at the beginning of the game. And so the troupe's like accountant pulls you aside and is like, so do you regret coming here yet? And I just answered, no, not yet. And then she just goes, oh, because they're all girls? Because you like to be around all the girls, huh? Yeah, I see what you're talking about. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, get out of my ass, lady. Like, and like, not only that, but like, her perception of me went down. Like, there's like, you're supposed to like get closer to people so you can, get bonuses and that kind of shit. But it's like, me answering that made her perception of me go down. I'm like, well, because I'm not fucking, like, because I don't have this dour outlook on what's going on, you immediately think it's because I'm lusting over everybody, and then because you just filled that in your head, you hate me now? Like, what? I mean, I guess that is how people are, maybe, sometimes, but it's unfair in a video game. It is stupid and poor writing in a video game when, you're supposed to be lining up these things. You're supposed to be figuring out how people respond to different things that you say in order to do this. Like, it sounds evil when you say that out loud, but that's how it is in a video game. You're trying to get the best possible outcome, but it was dumb. It was so dumb. I was very mad about it, and I'm quote unquote looking forward to that happening more, because I'm sure that I'm gonna walk in on somebody changing, or fall and grab someone's boob on accident, or something like that. There's be a hot springs episode. I don't fucking know. We're gonna go to the beach. I don't know. But other than that, it's fine. I'd say don't like rush out to buy it or anything like that. It's okay. It's okay. I really like the music. I like the music a lot.
So, when it comes to anime boy character, what does a womanizing? I think that character can be interesting as a concept. Right. Can be written in a way that's like compelling and at least entertaining. But I don't think it's ever fun to play as that character, or more specifically, to be forced to play as that character. Because it seems like with Sakura Wars, they circumstantially want you to either have these things happen to you over and over so you feel bad about it, or they want you to lean into it and go in like, yeah, I'm a sicko or something.
And I mean, they also, like, this game is also supposed to have like romance aspects to it. And I did the first like kind of sort of romance thing, which I felt like was way too quick. It was like maybe like 2 hours into the game, and I barely know all the girls and all that. And, you know, like, I'm not opposed to, you know, a game having a romance options and, you know, pairing off with somebody by the end of the game. You know, that's not that big of a deal. You know, like, I like doing that in, like, Persona games. You know, that was something that, like, helped me get into the role. And, you know, I wasn't sitting there thinking, like, okay, when I played Persona 4, I did it right. When I played Persona 5, I did it wrong. Because when I played Persona 4, I was explicitly like, okay, if I were in Yu's shoes, if I was explicitly in this scenario, who do I think I would get along with the best, and who would I date? And that is what I did. In Persona 5, I was blinded by the allure of the goth GF, and I just went, damn, Takemi's hot. John would date Takemi right now. And then it kind of made it awkward later on when I was like, wait, Akira's like 17. Oops. So that was a bad, I was not thinking with my brain there. But it didn't let me really do either for Sakura Wars, because there was just a moment where it was like, okay, yeah, like, Sakura had a really bad experience with somebody, and you like go to her room to try to comfort her, and they very explicitly like start getting romantic, and it just felt kind of off, because I was just like, I feel weird about like doing this to somebody so soon. Especially, like I don't know, I'm sure in real life there's moments where it's like, hey, you know, like, someone you've been friends with for a while, and it just, you know, something sparks, and, you know, maybe you sleep together or something like that. Like, that's not unreasonable. But I just think about these things in, like, a video game context, in the character arc context, in a writing context, where I'm just sitting here, and I just found out about this, like, I just started meeting these girls, and it's like, okay, I want to maybe find out which one, you know, if I do eventually romance one, which one would I want to do? And they're just like, all right, well, here's Sakura. You know, you can say that you want to date her right now. And it's just like, what? No, why would I want to do that right now? I don't know her enough. What? No, it's, you know, because, like, she does have history with the main character. You know, like, I think they knew each other from when they were, like, younger and all that. So again, it's not like out of the realm of possibility that, like, once they reconnect and they get close, like, really quickly, that something might spark. That is not unreasonable, but it just feels really weird that, like, the game kind of wants you to have options, but then they give you, like, I guess the option that would make the most sense, but it's very much like, why would I want to do that so quickly? You know, why don't I, you know, let me play the field a bit. Come on.
God, this really does sound like a 90s anime.
Yeah. It's very weird. And then just, you know, like, how you get very close. There is some, like, you know, you're all up ons. You can, like, stroke her hair and, like, gaze into her eyes and hold her hand, and it's all that kind of shit. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there at like 2 a.m. in my fucking pajamas, like all crunched up in my desk chair, just like, yeah, Sakura, how you doing, girl? You know, like picking my nose and eating it, like, whatever the fuck. I'm not doing that last one, but I was doing the rest of it. It just, you know, I am a fucking complete mess of a man who you would think it gets like invested in those kinds of scenes, but I can't handle that kind of stuff. When like there's like an explicit romance scene like that, I'm just like, I don't want to see this. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I'm. It makes me feel like I'm. It either feels like I'm being catered to, like overwhelmingly, or it feels like I'm like watching other people make out. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's like that stock photo of like I think it's like the women making out, and there's like a dude standing there with like an ice cream, just like licking it and just being like, like that's how I feel in a lot of those situations. I'm just like standing there with an ice cream cone, like, all right, well, when you two are done, I want to go fight more robots.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But that's how I feel about Sakura Wars. Again, I don't hate it. I'm probably going to try to finish it. I definitely want to finish it before the end of the year. It's like, I want to do that and 13 Sentinels, and then I want to get to Yakuza, and that might be kind of what I'm done with games for the rest of the year. You know, like, I'll probably pick up Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, but it's Puyo Puyo Tetris. You know, I'll enjoy it, but that's not going to be like a major investment in time or my brain or anything like that. I'm just gonna be like, well, yeah, here you go. This is something that I could play with friends, you know, get some online stuff going, and once we're all vaccinated, I can, you know, head over to people's house and be like, hey, I got Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, let's do that. So there's that.
Nice.
And then we have one last thing that we could talk about here, and this is something that is still kind of evolving over time. I'm actually trying to talk to some folks about this, so I might have an article up about this soon. By soon, I don't know how soon, but I'm going to try to work on it. So MagFest, which is that big old video game and music, I think it is Music and Games Festival is what MagFest stands for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is one of the bigger video game festivals that happens every year. Obviously, it didn't happen this year because of COVID, but a bunch of MagFest's employees, the folks that help run it, the folks that help set it up, the folks that, you know, are there during the events, have written a letter, a statement, I suppose, talking about the future of MagFest and how they feel it is in dire straits, specifically because the board of directors of MagFest are all terrible people. I'm just going to read a short list of some of the things that they are claiming about the board of directors. That they have harassed and threatened multiple office employees, volunteers, and staff-elected board nominees. They have asked employees to compromise personal and professional ethics. They have not responded in a timely manner to formal HR complaints or not taken steps to resolve them. They've not communicated about a lot of other things. You know, they've subverted procedures. They have delayed and refused to add board nominees to the board. They removed employees from key situations without warning, and acted in bad faith to the detriment of the organization and everyone in it. And they actually have a full Google Drive listing pretty much just a lot of documentation and specific claims from each of these different people. They actually also have, like a list of the board of directors that to tell people, hey, this is who you should be talking to. They have a signature thing that you can sign to, stand with them against the board. And they are asking for the board of directors to step down and be replaced with recent nominees that were chosen. As I said, it's a lot, and it does still kind of feel like it is, evolving. There's still a lot of information that I have to pour over. I feel like there is a lot of stuff in this Google Drive. There's like multiple letters and PDFs that I definitely will need to read over. But hey, it's a real bummer that something like this happened. But it's a good thing that those folks are standing up for their rights, and I hope that things get better for them, because MagFest seems like a really cool event, and it would be a real shame for it to get taken down because the board of directors are a bunch of assholes.
It's really... it's really something when you force people into such a corner that they have no choice but to open the windows and show everybody the kind of bullshit that you've been pulling for the past, like, 'cause I have to imagine this has been going on for years.
Yeah, you would think.
So, why can't people be normal?
I wish I could tell you.
Like, just... yeah, I hope this ends nicely for everybody who isn't the board of directors.
Yeah. I agree. Alright, well. I think it's time to answer some questions. If you want to send in questions, go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. You'll sound like these fine folks right here. Harlequin Wheels asks, what is your favorite credits sequence in a game?
Ooh.
Alright, well, mine is from a game that I complained about earlier. It's Melee. The Melee credit sequence where you're flying through the space and you're shooting all the credits. That's the best one.
I remember doing that one a lot. Just to get all the trophies.
All the rumors that if you hit all of them, you'd unlock, like, Sonic or Toad or whatever the hell. Ugh.
I always thought that, like, hitting all of them would do something, but I never thought that it would unlock a character or something. Like something big, anyway. My favorite one is probably the one I got to see last night when I finished Devil May Cry 5, because one, the music for it's really good.
It's very good.
That game is very good, but also it's funny because you spend the entire game with Nero not having Devil Trigger, and then, like, the last mission is you get Devil Trigger.
Yeah.
But they don't actually tell you how to, like, use it until the credit sequence, and so when the credits start rolling, like, they're doing the thing. I believe they did this in Devil May Cry 4, where they let you, like, fight a bunch of enemies while the credits roll, which is always fun, you know. But before the credits actually start rolling on the screen, they just have this huge, like, layer of text and buttons of saying, like, here's how Nero's Devil Trigger works. You can do these button combos or this thing, and I just thought that was very funny. So I think it's a great way to end that game. And I can't really think of too many other credit sequences in games where I was like, oh, this was really good, or this was really fun to watch, or this moved me in some way.
I mean, I did think about it, and I guess the actual answer is the obvious answer that I can't really talk too much about because you haven't finished it, but Nier Automata.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Nier Automata credits are extremely good, extremely important, and maybe one of my favorite video game moments ever. So, that too.
I like the Ghost Trick one as well, since I brought it up like an hour or so ago. Because the Ghost Trick one's, in my opinion, the best one of, we have finished this story-heavy game. We're going to go back and look at all of the characters and what they're doing and how they've been. So it's just like a nice little, oh cool, you solved all the problems. Now look at all the things that are happening because you helped people. It's nice.
Yeah.
Those are always really fun.
All right. We do have one more question. This is from Shulis. who I think is trying to start something here. We explicitly banned Vegeta talk from this podcast, but he's coming in and saying, what restaurant would you take Goku to if you had the privilege of treating him to a meal? First off, you're towing the line, watch out. Secondly, I cannot imagine taking Goku out to eat. He would ruin you. You would have no money left. The only person who can feasibly take Goku out to eat is Bulma, and that's because she's super rich. And I mean, that's also the same thing for Vegeta. Like, he eats a shit ton too. So she has to have fucking Capsule Corp money to pay for her husband, as well as her fucking husband's rival, if she has to. Just terrible, you know? Like, I don't know what I would do. I mean, unless I would take him... Maybe I could take him to the CC's Pizza. Because
that's
CC's
what I was
Pizza...
thinking. I was actually just thinking CC's Pizza is where I'd probably take him, because Goku doesn't strike me as the kind of person who cares much about, like, high quality. Like it just has to be good enough, you know?
Or, I mean, you could take him to the garden and give him unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. You know, like, there's ways to do it, I suppose. But then we might run into that thing from The Simpsons where Homer ate all the food and then got banned from the... Like, I don't know. I think it would just be a bad time bringing Goku out to eat in general.
I would take him to the Shake Pit.
The Shake Pit?
Back when I lived in Florida, in my hometown, there's this one of those, like, you walk up to a building and there's like a counter and you order. It's just called the Shake Pit, kind of like Snake Pit. And they sell some food, but they mostly specialize in like milkshakes. Really, really good milkshakes.
That does sound really good.
So I'd probably just take him there. Like, if he's hungry, like, they've got pretty good fries and such, but like, just have a milkshake.
Okay. Yeah, I would take Goku to the Olive Garden. It's when you're there, your family, and also I think because they still follow me, but they never gave me a gift card.
Aww.
Olive Garden, send me a fucking gift card already, so I can use it to pay for Goku's meal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need it. All right. Obviously not. Probably not right now because I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going out to eat. I don't know if you could pick up food you could probably pick up food from Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to get stuff catered by Olive Garden at my workplace.
Okay.
So,
what do you think Goku's preferred fast food burger is?
probably has bacon on it.
Okay. I mean, like, I'm thinking, so I should say, like, of the big three. Like, I'm talking Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King. Which one do you think is his favorite? I'm thinking he just goes for a double quarter pounder. I think that's Goku's choice there. I think he's a McDonald's guy. You know, he's basic, but it's still good, you know? I think Vegeta is absolutely a Wendy's guy. Like, he was initially tempted because he was like, oh, Burger King. But I'm a prince, and so Prince goes to the Burger King. But then he had one bite of Burger King, and Bulma had to talk him down from blowing the place up because it was so disgusting. So definitely Wendy's, and yeah, I think he absolutely just goes for the Dave's double and just goes for that one.
Oh, I think Vegeta goes for the Baconator.
You think the Baconator?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's a burger that sounds like somebody's special attack.
That's true. Yeah, he would perform a Baconator afterwards. He would learn like a new move, and then he would name it after his favorite sandwich. I could see that. They're fighting Cell again, and he's like, "Behold, Cell, here's my Baconator
talking
attack."
About Vegeta.
Fuck. God damn it.
This was the plan.
Because Vegeta's funnier. Vegeta's so much funnier.
He is.
Like, Goku's great, but Vegeta's just so funny. Fuck. But Goku would just double quarter pounder, Goku, medium fry, large fry.
Yeah.
And a Diet Coke. Because Chi-Chi told him he has to. Alright, well, that should do it. Thank you so much for joining me, Spencer. It was a real treat.
Yeah, it was fun.
Of course, if you want to go ahead and follow us on things, we have our Twitter at VGCC, have our Tumblr, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com. We have a Facebook page, we have a YouTube, we have a, I've been posting stuff on YouTube recently. I've been doing all those Yu-Gi-Oh! Openings. There should be another one, maybe by the time you hear this, maybe a little bit after, where I'm opening up a structure deck. And I feel like I go in on that thing. I'm not messing around, all right? I don't know if Konami listens to this. I know Konami's looking at the videos, but I don't know if they're listening to this, but Konami, you've been warned. No, not really. It's okay. I have been enjoying the products they've been putting out recently, but I do have caveats for this one, some big caveats. All right. Yeah, we have our YouTube, youtube.com/c/videogamechoochoo, I think is how you get to that. We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/VGChoochoo. We haven't really done anything recently with that, but, maybe sometime soon. We have our Patreon, patreon.com/VGCC. Just go ahead on there. Give us $3 a month, and you'll get early access to stuff like Chuchugatri Unlimited Train Works. And maybe some other stuff that's coming out pretty soon. We'll see about that. And then finally, come join the Discord server, the GameZone.zone. Type that into your web browser and it'll bring you straight there. And thank you to Magic Circuit/Melt Channel for a theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to hear more of their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. You can buy it anytime you want, but I will always recommend that you do it on the first Friday of every month because that's Bandcamp Day, and they get the full cut. That's always a good thing. Spencer, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Solaire Hazard, Solaire spelled like the Dark Souls character. And you can also find me in the Discord, the GameZone.zone.
That's wonderful.
So if you want to yell at me about finishing Nier Automata, you can do it there.
Alright. You can find me at JOHN_MICHONSKI on Twitter. And that should do it. Back next week with another episode of the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. So long, everybody.